Hi everybody, and happy Independent Bookstore Day. It is Saturday, April 24th, and I decided to take you along on my bookish journey. This is usually one of my Christmases, to be completely honest. I'm so psyched. It is just before 10 o'clock. I am actually going to start off the day by volunteering at Open Books, a nonprofit bookstore here in Chicago. I do have on the official, I know it was not super flattering, but I do have on the official Independent Bookstore Day shirt. It's like dressing up for Christmas. I know, it's so silly. So I volunteer today from 10 to 12. I do have right now Open Books' discount is 25% off books if you come shop in person. So I'm going to pick up a couple of books before I go. A lot of them are actually for my friends who are out of state, who are like, I want books. I also have, excuse me, oh, that's my finger. That's cute. Oh, this is a very cute angle. I also have a couple of books that I am unhauling. I have additional leftover copies of Lemon, A Global History from my Lemon box. I have an MFK Fisher book I'm donating because I do have her tome, the 20th anniversary of all of her writing. So no point in keeping both. I also have Supper Club. This is a fiction book, and it was one of my most disappointing reads. I have a wrap-up. Oh gosh, I think I read this in March, that talks about why this book is meh. And then finally, I have American Ice Cream, and this was the memoir/picture book I read last month. It's a great book. I'm just never going to reread it again, so I'd rather it go to another good home. That's a train above my head. Yay, Chicago. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started, and I'll take you with me.
So, unfortunately, I had to eliminate the original audio for this segment because we play radio and some kind of oldies playlist at this bookstore. So, as you guys can see, when I first get to the bookstore, it's stacks of books. And then I like to take my time and sort them through in manageable piles that I built that system myself. Every volunteer has their own way of doing this, but I like to break mine into fiction, historical fiction, romance, sci-fi, and fantasy go together in the store, and mystery thrillers are in the same place in the store. So I know these are more of the perimeter books. You find them on the perimeter of the store. We also have a section for bestsellers, like $5 bestsellers for fictions and non-fictions. Why can't I speak today? Jeez. After that, there's a lot of nonfiction. Politics, business, philosophy, psychology, diet and exercise, black studies, radicalism, essays, poetry, analysis of those poets, music, humor, film and television, miscellaneous history. That's where I find a lot of my books, like the history of salt, travel writing, American history, World War I, World War II, political books about boring politicians. I'm forgetting other sections. Cookbooks, religion, Buddhism. Multiple religions fall under that area. Do you like my new mask? It's gumdrops. Makes me super happy. We also have a rare book section. Oh, and graphic novels, comics, all indie books, memoirs, and yeah, lots of stuff. So when I'm done shelving or I need a break, I do this thing called shifting. I like the shelves to have breathing room so I can put more books on there. And I like to straighten. I worked at a library for a long time, like 5 years. So this is Zen. I do this every weekend, or I try to. It's a lot of fun. I did not get that book, but the cover was cool. And we're done.
So it's about 2-3 o'clock. We're heading to our second bookstore.
So right now we are north of Chicago. in Lincoln Park. And this bookstore is called the Cellar. Cellar. That makes me laugh. So now we are inside Unabridged. No, not Unabridged. We are inside Bookseller. So I'm trying. We only have 20 minutes in here. So I'm trying to find if there's a food writing book I will want. Oh, this would have been a good book to read with my book duo on poison that's coming out. And I promised myself I could only get one book while I'm here. Only one, not one and Dan buys one. Only one. I am going to get a t-shirt though. It's a cute book. Usually something has to really jump out to me. Ooh. Definitely one that's been on my list for a long time. It's either going to be that one or... I don't know. I just feel like I've read a lot of books about, like, the horrors behind food, and I don't think I'm in the mood to buy another one.
Anything catch your interest?
I don't know. Did anything catch your interest?
Yeah, I got some stuff.
Oh, you did? What'd you get?
Just two Neil Gaiman things. He did a graphic novel. Like, it looks like a little one-off thing. He's
Cool.
never steered me wrong before, so...
Hold, please. I'm just struggling to get it back on the shelf with one hand. So this is what caught my eye. This will be the one book I buy. And even Dan approves of it. Bing! Can I see your books? Can I see the covers? Dan found some stuff too. Ooh. Very quickly. This is an amazing title.
Yeah, we're gonna have to keep that in mind. That looks awesome.
This book I have, and it should be over there. I'm very annoyed. This is a new one that came out that I've heard a lot about. I never understand why there gets to be more cookbooks in the world than food books. But
They're easier to make, I guess.
I guess no one knows how to cook. Okay, so we just finished in Bookseller. I got my book, and because I spent over $25, I actually got to pick an ARC off of that little cart over there. So third bookstore of the day is Unabridged Bookstore, which we have been to many a time, with a very long line. Take a bet. How long are we going to wait on the line?
Ooh. 30 minutes? My initial guess.
We'll see. So because I spent over $25 at the other store, I got this ARC. Well, you could pick an ARC from a cart. And I got Everything You Wanted to Know About Indians But Were Afraid to Ask by Anton Troyer. So I'll have to look up more about this, but hey man, I could always learn more about our indigenous people. And it's for a young readers edition, so it should be easy to understand. The cover is really cool though. Like it looks like beadwork. Yay, free book! Talk quietly, but we had to wait about 45 minutes, but I got in and I'm dying inside because I'm only allowed one book at the store. And this store actually has a pretty decent food rating section. And some of these I actually haven't seen come through open books. Like usually I'll wait for things to come through open books. But some of these I haven't. Like this one, for example. But I have been in the store a few times and I recognize that book, so it's been here. 7 Years of Writing at Gourmet magazine, which Gourmet is not around anymore. I actually just got this in a box set. What are you? Nice cover. I want this. You don't really read it, but it's like a color wheel, almost like a color wheel, but like a flavor thesaurus. Oh, hey, I have Delicioso at home. I hated this book. Stuff every cook should know. This seems like a cool book. Interesting. Cool cover. So, first off, these are not shelved the same way. Wilson. I see this book everywhere, but I don't think any of this would be interesting. Again, another book that would have gone really well with the book duos of Poison. And I actually just got this book at Open Books. This is an interesting one. Put this on my list to get later. I have this. This. I have that. I have Creamy and Crunchy at home. I have this book at home. I started this book and hated it. I have this. I have this. I have this. Not that one. Anything that moves. Interesting. I promised myself I would get one of these, since it's one of the only times I've seen a bookstore carry Reckitt's edible series. I have this one, and this one. I have all of his books. Just another tip if you're looking for food writing books is sometimes they get mixed into other sections of the store. So like I'm in the spirit section and like that's a memoir up there. Same thing with the memoir section. You can usually find other food writing books or chefs in here. So despite going to numerous bookstores today, I wasn't able to find this special map that was part of Independent Bookstore Day. So I did manage to buy this online from Volume Books, which is another independent bookstore in Chicago. So I got my map. It'll be here in a couple of days, but this is one of those pieces that Dan and I are going to frame this kind of map. I think it's super cool, and it's not going to focus the way I want it to because I'm filming a computer screen, but it's a map of all the independent bookstores in the United States who are participating in Independent Bookstore Day this year. So I'm really excited I got this from Volume Books. Another not bookish thing I got, well, it is a bookish thing, but not a book. I got this t-shirt for Independent Bookstore Day, and it's a map of Illinois with all of the different independent bookstores of Illinois. So it was super cool. I got this at Unbridged Bookstores. And then the last non-book thing I got was a gift, actually. So I got this gift from Open Books. You guys have heard many times that I've been volunteering with them since like mid-pandemic. And they got me this cute little gift. And it's, oops, if I don't throw it out of my hands, it's a little bag of salt and a little shovel, and it's a display for the house, and I think that's so sweet. They gave it to me today, and then I came in and had to tell them, hey, I'm staying for 2 more weeks because those fuckers won't leave our house, but that's fine. So those were the tricks and trinkets I got that were not books for the month of April. So now we're going to transition over to all of the books I hauled this month, and yes, there are a lot. So let me get that out, sorry. So this first stack are books that I bought but will have read or finished reading before the end of the month. So the first book is Accidentally Engaged by Farah Heron. My friend Arushi, I bought her books from the last open bookstore sale, and they accidentally shipped the wrong books. So I got her this book on top of it to say sorry, and now we're reading this together. The next book I read, and I finished this already, was With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. I listened to this as an audiobook, and I will talk more about it during my wrap-up this month. The next one is The Book Tour by Andy Watson. I will talk more in depth during my wrap-up. And finally, Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer. I also read this already, and I'll talk more about these books in my wrap-up in a different video. This next pile of books are books I pre-ordered or bought brand new. So finally, Anthony Bourdain World Traveler has arrived. I pre-ordered this book almost 2 years ago, and it had been delayed numerous times during the pandemic. And this is the last book that Anthony Bourdain's fingerprints are on. He did not finish it before he died by suicide, but he had been talking to his longtime assistant, Lori Woollever, about this kind of book. And I finally have it. Dan and I are going to read this together as our nighttime reading book. The next book that I got via pre-order, Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. This is an autographed copy I got from Barnes & Nobles. I will be reading this in May in anticipation of Feasting Females live show on May 22nd. If you want to join us for the live show on May 22nd, we will actually be talking about the New York... if you want to join us on May 22nd, we'll actually be talking about the article Crying in H Mart that appeared in the New Yorker with the same title that came before this book. So you don't have to read the book to be an active participant in Feasting Females in May, but I'm going to read it and be prepared. The next book is Black Smoke, African Americans in the United States of Barbecue by James Beard Award winner Adrian Miller. I have this autograph. This came from Omnivore Books, and they are based out on the West Coast. And the final brand new book I want is another book this is a book that was on my 2020 most anticipated reads list for books that were coming out in 2021. Finding Freedom, a cook story remaking a life from scratch, and a memoir, by Erin French. So in the month of March, I was working 10-hour days, most nights working late, and my boss, sent my coworker and I a gift card to say thank you for our extra hard work. And I used 95% of the gift card on other things like Starbucks gift cards, an Amazon gift card, some DoorDash gift cards, and etc. And I bought myself one book. And I'm pretty proud. Like, I had a $250 gift card, and instead of buying $250 in books, I only bought one. Which doesn't really help when this is how many other books I still have to go through, but it was some progress. This next stack is a stack of books I received ARCs, advanced reader copies from the publishers. So I got Fermented Foods and the History of Science of the History of Science of a Microbiological Wonder by Christine. I can't say that last name. This came from University of Chicago Press. I think I talked about this last month, but I also got the Culinary Crescent, A History of Middle Eastern Cuisine. Also got this from the University of Chicago Press. So I got these two. From Working Man Publishing, I got Why We Cook, Women on Food, Identity, and Connection by Lindsay Gardner, with essays, interviews, recipes, and from more than 112 women. I recognize this is Anita Lowe. This is Carla Hall. I know I recognize these other chefs, and unfortunately their names totally escape me, but I'm very, very excited. You guys can't see, but this is actually like a textured cover, so I can feel the little tiles, and this is like an embossed cover, which is pretty cool. So thank you, Working Man Publications. And HarperCollins and their imprint, Amistad, sent me We Are Each Other's Harvest by Natalie Bazile, the author of Sugar Queen. So this book is already out in the market, and when I reached out to them, I actually wanted a review copy, and they said, we don't have any review copies left, but we do have the ARC, the unedited proof. Do you want it? And I said, yes, of course, send it to me anyway. So this book is celebrating African-American farmers, land, and legacy. If you guys didn't know, less than 10% of farmers in the United States are Black, and that is for numerous reasons, but mostly systematic racism within the government and giving grants and loans to farmers, the people of color that want to be farmers.
He got rid of all these. He made his cast too big and got rid of like the original characters.
Yeah. Okay, this next pile of books are books I'm actually going to be giving away. I bought them today for other people. So I actually found a copy of Blood, Bones, and Butter by Gabrielle Hamilton at Open Books, used in great condition, and it was 25% off a $5 book. I'm going to send this to Amanda over at the Curly Reader. We both had just read the Black, White, and the Gray, and my review will be out in the next couple of weeks. But Gabrielle Hamilton makes, if you want to call it, a cameo in that book, and this book, her memoir, is actually referenced many times. And while we both didn't love Black, White, and the Gray, I'm going to send this to Amanda and hope that she enjoys this. And this next pile were books my friend Josh wanted at Open Books, and I was volunteering this morning, so I picked them up for him. So he wanted The Armored Saint by Mike Cole, the first edition of Berserker, The Flame Dragon Knight, it's a manga, The Great Tree of Avalon, Child of the Dark Prophecy by T.A. Barron, Hrolf Krocky's Saga by Poul Anderson, and the final one is The Fall of Lucifer by Wendy Alec. So these are going to go to Josh, and by go to him, I mean I'm going to hang on to them until I see him this summer when he comes to visit us in our new house, whenever that actually effing happens. But yes, these I am not keeping. So that's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books that I picked up for other people. I also bought Dan 2 volumes of manga, Read or Die volumes 2 or 4. Yes, I'm aware that means they're out of order, but they were at Open Books and they were on sale. And he loves that manga. He has watched it start to finish probably 5 times. So I want to start getting the mangas for him. I think it'd be fun for him to collect and a fun way to get gifts for him. Okay, this next pile are books that I picked up from used bookstores this month. I got The 10 Restaurants That Changed America by Paul Friedman. If this name sounds familiar, that's because Rosie and I just buddy read American Cuisine, Paul Friedman's most recent book. I really liked that book, so I wanted to pick this up. I actually think I have it as an audiobook, so I might listen to it, but I know I want to own Paul Friedman's books. I want his backlist. I then picked up Brewed Awakening by Joshua M. Bernstein. I got this because I'm interested in beer and brewers, even though I don't drink, but I also know that Dan will find use and read this book. Yep. Thanks, Dan, off camera. These came from Half Priced Books, and I also picked up this from Half Priced Books. It's a collection of books by Julia Rothman, who is a famous animator. She does a lot of work for different fashion magazines or fashion companies. She also, I think she did all of the program work inside for the book, for the play / musical Waitress. So she has a book, Food Anatomy, The Curious Parts and Pieces of Our Edible World, Farm Anatomy, The Curious Parts and Pieces of Country Life, and Nature Anatomy, The Curious Parts and Pieces of the Natural World. And yeah, they're essentially like picture books. This is definitely a coffee table kind of book, or a book I'm going to have on display. I'm so glad I got the whole set. I think I got the whole set for $25, and normally on her website this is like a $100 purchase. I also got this little extra insert that comes with it with more sketches. So this is pretty awesome. I'm going to put you guys down for 1 sec while I put these away. So yeah, I'm super excited. I will read these, but I don't know if there's something that really is necessary for a TBR. I'm not going to wrap this. This is something that's going to be on a bookshelf in the house that guests can look at. I mean, even just look at the I don't know, case it comes in. It's pretty cool. Okay, so those 3 came from Half Priced Books. These next 4 are books I actually picked up at Open Books. I got Poisoned by Jeff Bennett, the true story of the deadly E. coli virus outbreak and how it changed the way America eats. And it's autographed. I got a used book, a brand new used book, for $8.50, and it's autographed. Awesome. 800 Grapes, a novel by Laura Dave. This is actually a romance, and it was an impulse purchase. The memoir Nadia by Nadia Hussein, Finding My Voice. If you recognize Nadia, she is from the Great British Baking Show. And finally, Beer Money, a memoir of privilege and loss by Frances Stroh. So that's that pile. Okay, these next 4 books I purchased specifically for SpringAthon next month. If you don't know about SpringAthon, it's a 2-week readathon about food and not food, guys. I'm so food oriented. Sorry. SpringAthon is a 2-week reading period about nature and science books. And I have picked up The Entangled Life, How Fungi Makes Our Worlds Change Our Minds and Shape Our Futures. I will do a separate video that's like, what is my SpringAthon TBR? But here they are. Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. The Way Through the Woods on Mushrooms and Morning by Long Wit Woon. And Mark Kurlansky's Salmon, A Fish, the Earth, and the History of Their Common Fate. I should also say that I picked up the Best American Science Nature Writing of 2020, and this is edited by Michiko Kaku. I will also be reading this for SpringAthon. I just didn't buy it with these books. I'm trying to like break up these piles into when I got them. So yeah, this is for SpringAthon. And because I ordered these books off of thriftbooks.com, I got 2 free books with credits. So I got The Man Who Ate the World in Search of the Perfect Dinner by Jay Rayner. If you don't know who Jay Rayner is, he is a famous UK food critic. He was one of the judges on Top Chef Masters, but I think you should better know him for his work as a food critic. And I'll put a picture here. I actually got a book written by Adam, who was originally the host of Man vs. Food. It just hasn't arrived yet. It's somewhere in Texas. So that covers everything I ordered from thriftbooks.com this month. So if you're keeping count, that makes 25 books that I am going to keep, and then there are 6 other books that I am giving away, plus the 2 I gave to Dan. So 26 plus 6 is 32, plus 2 is 34. What I have left is everything I received today as part of Independent Bookstore Day. So Our last stop at Unbridged Bookstore, I picked up Cheese, The Making of the Wisconsin Tradition by Jeffrey Apps. And I also picked up American Cider, A Modern Guide to a Historic Beverage, and I broke my rule of buying one book at each store, and I'm saying this out loud so Dan can yell at me. He doesn't seem to care.
I was smirking.
He's smirking. Yeah, Dan is smirking at me. That's 2. At the second bookstore we went to, that was called the Cellar, I picked up On the Menu, The World's Favorite Piece of Paper by Nicholas Lander. This is a new book, and it actually has menus from different restaurants and conversations around it. So I think this is going to be a quick read, but I actually don't have many books on menu writing and menus themselves. And it features interviews with a lot of interesting people. Oh, Renee Redzepi, Daniel Ballou, Peter Gilmore. So I'm super excited to read this one. Because I spent more than $25 at the Cellar, I actually ended up getting a free ARC, Everything You Wanted to Know About Indians But Were Afraid to Ask by Anton Troyer. It's a young reader's edition. I should read this. I will read this. It's just not a high urgent book, but hey, I got it. And the cover's like embossed, and I enjoy this. Okay. What is left is everything I picked up at Open Books this morning. If you guys remember at the beginning of this vlog, I purchased 20 books for $97. So here are the rest of those books. So the books I mentioned earlier that I got for Josh, and the book I got by Gabrielle Hamilton for Amanda at the Curly Reader, and Dan's 2 manga are part of that purchase, and these are the rest of the books. In the fiction category, we have The Chef, a cook's novel by Marie N. D.A. I hope I said that correct. Lee. Fiction book about a chef. Of course I got it. Next, Hyperbole and a Half by Ali Brosh. I have always wanted to have this book. I've always wanted to read it. And this is a book I know I can pass to my sisters when I'm done with it. Is there a bookmark in here? There is. There is some kind of weird thing. Okay. I don't know what that is. Barn owls? It says barn owls. All right. Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. I should read this. Like, it's a book where books are banned. I should read this. End of discussion. And then I picked up The Animators by Kayla Ray Whitaker. This is about 2 animators, like in the film and animation world. And I don't know why, the cover just really spoke to me. It popped out on the shelf, so I grabbed it. More than anything, I can definitely see myself reading these 4 books and re-gifting them or donating them when I'm done. Kim, you should probably use a library. I know. When I move to Buffalo, I will use the library, but I'm here. And here are the food books I got at Open Books because I could. I got Fresh Off the Boat and Double Cup Love. These are both Eddie Huang's memoirs. He also, the series Fresh Off the Boat just ended, and he is a chef, so I got these. I'm not selling it very well, but I'm running out of brain power. Manifesto of the Future of Food and Seed by Vandana Shiva, edited by Vandana Shiva. The cover really just spoke to me. It's really small. I'm probably going to put it on my May TBR so I can knock it out and feel good about reading it. The Food of a Younger Land by Mark Kurlansky. Again, he's the author of Cod and Salt. I'm working on owning everything on his backlist. Miriam's Kitchen, which is a memoir by Elizabeth Ehrlich. And this was on my list of food writing books by females that you should read. And I really wanted to have it. Oops, sorry. 97 Orchard, An Edible History of 5 Immigrant Families in One New York Tenant by Jane Siegelman. Lunch in Paris, A Love Story with Recipes by Elizabeth Bard. Heirloom, Notes from an Accidental Tomato Farmer by Tim Stark. And finally, Salt, Sugar, and Fat, How the Food Giants Hooked Us by Michael Moss. If you guys remember in my wrap-up last month, I actually won his most recent book. So I wanted to have his backlog. Also, he's the winner of a Pulitzer, so he must be a good writer. So, taking a step back, 26 books from the earlier pile were mine. I'm not going to count the ones that I gave to Dan, to Josh, or to Amanda. So 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. 43 books in the month of April. Yes, that is insane. Kim, your wrapped TBR is screaming at you. Yes, I'm very aware of that. Oh well, here we are. So here we are at the end of Saturday and Indie Bookstore Day. Yes, this is my whole April wrap up and an Indie Bookstore Day vlog put together. Yes, I got over 40 books for myself. Yes, I have a problem. Yes, my TBR is screaming at me. I don't really think I care. I do know that when I move to Buffalo, I won't have a store like Open Books. That is like my happy place. And while I know of independent bookstores in Buffalo, none of them have food writing sections more than a shelf long. It's like shopping at Barnes & Noble's, really limited access. I also solemnly swear to use my library when I move to Buffalo and work through this backlist. And I think that's a good thing. Like, I wanted one last book haul in Chicago. We were supposed to move next weekend. We aren't because of the lawsuit. Please see other video where I cry. But yeah, I wanted one last book haul. And yeah, there are a lot of books, but I love books. And I am done apologizing. I will probably apologize every single time. I will probably guilt myself every single time. Dan will laugh at me every single time I buy an extra book, even though I really don't need to when I have so many to read. But it's my happy place. I've been through a lot, and middle fingers up in the air, right? Like, Kim, you've had a bad Q1, but you didn't drive yourself to the loony bin. You're not a raging alcoholic. You didn't binge eat and make yourself sick. So you know what? If buying books is my coping mechanism, there are way worse things in the world. Right? Hit like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye.